sorry, that's for a Democrat show.
Let me know when you're ready.
Was an extremely great conservative commentator. We're tearing it up on Wednesday night. This is awesome. This
will allow me to retort.
Well, this is Jersey Joe for the Reaver of Common Sense show. I'm on shrmedia.com.
Actually, I just totally screwed up. This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm here to make sense out of the senseless. That's right. And the Jersey Takeover is here. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you want to watch a broadcast, it's so damn easy. Even a liberal can do it. Just go to shrmedia.com. There's 2 other ways you can go. You can go to YouTube or you can go to Facebook. Both very easy. Most people do it on a daily basis. Just search for SHR Media. Don't forget to hit the subscribe and the like button. And away you go. Oh, I see a lot of shit has been going on. I can't believe the amount of sexual harassment that has been going on with these assholes that have been preaching and talking down to us and acting like they're better than us, when in reality, they're a bunch of scumbags. Right, left, independent, I don't give a shit what side of the aisle on. And it's not just the accusations. Accusations come and go, and sometimes they're not always truthful. Women do things for all different reasons. And men do things for all different reasons. So I'm not exactly believing every single and all until there's a little bit of proof. But the amount of proof that's coming out is scary. These scumbags have been preaching to us and talking down to us as they do whatever the hell they want, and it's absolutely disgusting. It is appalling. And if you're going to sit up on that big chair and you're going to look down on us and act like you're better, well, you better be about 5 steps better than me. Oh, man. Right now, season premiere of Vikings is on. I'm going, Snikes. 9 to 11. Oh. I'll watch it on rerun. Yeah. Well, I lost my only 2 viewers that I had. No, just kidding. I didn't have any viewers. So, yeah, Vikings is premiering tonight. The season premiere. The one I'm looking for, I can't remember the name. It's about the Templar Knights. That's the one I want to see. Let's see if I can find the name for it. It's going to be on the History Channel. It's like a drama, but it's based on the Templar Knights. The history of them. Just like Vikings, it's based on the history of Ragnar, who turned into a great leader for the Norwegians, the whole Scandinavian area. He really changed them. Things he did just is amazing. But this series is based off of history with a drama, but at first when I started watching it, I was watching it in reruns. I was bored one night, and my wife had talked about it, and I happened to look something up on the show, and I saw that it was actually based on history. I was like, shit, this is pretty cool. I'm trying to look it up. Nightfall, I think it's called. So, We'll see how that is. I think it's gonna be good. It's gonna start in the 1306 era, and kind of going along towards the end of the Templar Knights. I think what is it? 1380s is when the Templars ran their course, and that is Tuesday, I think it is. No, Wednesday. Oh, a week from today. Cool. So I have great news to announce here in Tampa, and it happened last night while I was on the air. I didn't find out until after. It wasn't until really later on that it really broke what happened. I had heard some rumblings that they had possibly had a suspect were interviewing of the Tampa Seminole Heights serial killer. And they weren't announcing any arrests, They said they had a strong suspicion this was the guy. I wasn't going to report it. I can happily report now that they have arrested this guy and charged him with those 4 murders. Now, what they were doing is give you the backstory of how it went down from my understanding. This guy goes to work at McDonald's, and he brings his handgun with him. He puts it in a McDonald's bag. He asks a coworker to hold on to it while he runs out. Coworker, wondering what the hell, opens it up and sees a handgun in there. From my understanding, feeling awkward, thinking it's kind of weird that he handed a gun in a bag like that. A responsible gun owner is not keeping his gun in a greasy McDonald's bag. This person goes to the boss, who then, there is a Tampa PD officer, I guess having lunch in there, or I don't know, but was in the McDonald's, gets pulled to the side and shown. Some inspection is done, backup is called, and the guy returns and they detain him. They start talking to him. Now, during this time, from what I understand, the gun's taken away and fired and tested. They had shells, a .40 caliber shell, from each of the 4 crime scenes that all matched underneath ballistics. They fire the gun, it matches. They take the guy's cell phone. They go into it. They go into the GPS and all that. I don't know how they all do it, but your phone tracks where you go. They find out he was at 3 of the 4 sites at the time frame. He has the handgun in his possession. He admits it's his handgun. How you doing, Dan the Man Butcher? Been a while since I seen you, brother. So not only does he have the handgun, admits to ownership of the handgun, his cell phone puts him at the scenes of 3 of the 4 crimes. They have now arrested him and charged him with all 4 murders. Now, when they talk to the coworker, this gentleman, Howell Donaldson is his name. He's 24 years old. Was telling the coworker that he was getting ready to leave the state. This guy was getting ready to jettison out of Florida and probably never would have gotten caught. But for whatever reason, needed to step away from his job and didn't want to carry the handgun. So gave it to a coworker, which ended up getting him caught. What I'm hoping is this son of a bitch gets the death penalty. Hey, Jenna. Glad to have you here. He hasn't given any reason. He hasn't given any motive. They said he's been real nice, but he has not been talkative. He asked for an attorney, so we may never know why, but I'm pretty sure they said they're 100% sure they have the asshole. Now this is a guy. He was a point guard. Did not play in any games during his lone season on the squad. He was a walk-on with the St. John's Red Storms in 2011-2012. Now, he did tweet out right before, I love basketball. I plan on walking on for St. John's basketball team. Now, again, he never played, but he was a walk-on. Before graduating from St. John's with a degree in sports management, the 24-year-old starred on the Alonzo High School basketball team in Tampa. Donaldson listed on a resume that he worked for the New York Mets at Citi Field as a guest experience host in 2016, found employment at an Adidas store for several years, and worked an event in 2015 for the NBA. Social media reveals he is Facebook friends with Pittsburgh Steelers linebacker Anthony Chilico, who attended the same high school. Now, Tampa cops arrested Donaldson at his place of employment, a Ybor City McDonald's restaurant, on Tuesday night. He allegedly gave the manager a McDonald's bag, as I said. And now, this is a different story than I was hearing. It was given to a coworker. The coworker then talked to the boss. But the police were immediately alerted. And that's saying arrest. He was never arrested immediately. This story has some some questionable reporting. Now, it's saying, for reasons not yet fully explained, the police believe they can link Donaldson to his gun to 4 random murders in Tampa Bay. Yeah. Shells that were left on the scene from his gun when he went on his killing spree. It was 51 days of hell in those areas. And he'll stand trial for 4 counts of first-degree murder. The shootings unleashed fear in Tampa, but locals breathed a sigh of relief upon news that police arrested the suspect. Mayor Bob Buckhorn explained to the press, "Justice will occur when this individual rots in hell. Tonight we're about to bring justice to someone who doesn't deserve to walk amongst us." Now, I know Saturday they were also, because the area that the murders were taking place is not very well lit. So to try to get the community and everybody to come together, they had gotten a lot of donations of Christmas lights. So what they were going to do, hopefully they still do it. They're asking for volunteers. I know they were setting them up today, but Saturday they were asking for volunteers to show up and put these lights up. And I hope it still happens, because that community has a lot of healing to go through. That community is going to have a stigma for a long time for something that they had no control of. I would like to know what caused this guy to just go nuts. I don't understand it. Listen, people piss me off all the time. I don't think I can ever go on a shooting spree like that. I don't know. So, at least that's one thing. Now, another part of the drama pops up, the trial. Now, we talked about Luis Gutierrez leaving Congress. Now it's coming out that I think it's an excuse. I don't understand his motives if this is true, but now they're saying that he vowed on Tuesday that he will travel from coast to coast in the years ahead after leaving Congress, creating a new, fierce framework for immigrant rights across this country ahead of a 2020 in the presidential election. Gutierrez announced he will not seek re-election to Congress and endorsed Garcia to take his place. So what they're saying now is this guy's going to travel coast to coast and try for a presidential bid in 2020 based on open borders and amnesty for illegal aliens. You know, hey, you know, if people were behind that, they would have voted in the Congress to push that. They didn't. Hey, you got some good news, Jenna? Well, you got to share with the class then. And I don't understand why he has to leave Congress to do all this. He can do his, and congressmen do it, congresswomen do it all the time. They go coast to coast, getting ready for a presidential run. I think this is wishful thinking and just blowing smoke, trying to make something out of nothing. Now, he ruled out of running for governor of Puerto Rico or mayor of Chicago, but absolutely did not rule out running again for future office. Should Gutierrez decide to run for president against President Donald Trump, his over-the-top and vicious anti-Trump rhetoric, left-wing authenticity, and prosperity to say outrageous statements without a filter would guarantee him plenty of press and headlines and consideration from the resistant wing. Resistant wing. That's all, folks. But on Tuesday, the bombastic congressman also reminded Democrats that he opposed NAFTA as a freshman congressman in 1993, even taking on the Daily Machine in Chicago. Sweet. Good luck with that, Jenna. Hitting all of the issues that matter to left-wing primary voters. Gutierrez said he opposed the Defense of Marriage Act and blasted former Bill Clinton and the majority of Democrats for supporting it and turning their backs on gays and lesbians. He said he was happy he voted against the Iraq War and emphasized that he backed single-payer health care in 2012 before it was so cool to do so on the progressive left. Gutierrez said he was the only Latino congressman to back Barack Obama's presidential candidacy and said he then held Obama's feet to the fire when Obama did not deliver on comprehensive amnesty legislation. When did anybody hold Obama's feet to anything except to kiss him? This guy is so full of him fucking self. I held Obama's feet to the fire. You held Obama's feet and kissed them. It's the only thing you did. Oh my God. Gutierrez also spoke at length about how he and Garcia backed former Chicago Mayor Harold Washington. Nice. Well, I wish you the best with it, Jenna. I really do. Gutierrez's signature issue has been amnesty for illegal immigrants, and he declared that he will talk to leaders in Los Angeles, Atlanta, Miami, New York, Philadelphia, North and South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, and Mississippi about building the infrastructure for a 2020 election. He added that he would also be visiting places like Florida, Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Oregon, and Ohio. Hey, already he's doing better than Hillary Clinton did. Gutierrez also reportedly owns an oceanfront home on Puerto Rico's north coast. Denied he will run for governor of Puerto Rico after a source close to him told Fox 32 in Chicago that he may be eyeing Puerto Rico governorship. In August, Gutierrez sounded like a candidate for elected office in Puerto Rico when he spoke to David Axelrod on his Axelfile podcast about My Island, My People. It's an important place for me, Gutierrez told Axelrod, who also first made a name for himself in politics while working for Harold Washington. It's going to be a place where I look at the last chapter of my life, I want to make sure there is a chapter that allows me to return and do good things in Puerto Rico. I wouldn't know what that's like. Yeah, Jenna. I wouldn't know what that's like. In recent months, I can't say that. With my daughter doing good, that was good news. So I retract that statement. In recent months, Gutierrez has blasted Trump's response to Hurricane Maria, even though the governor and 11 out of the 12 mayors in Puerto Rico have said it's been an excellent response. Gutierrez has accused him of neglecting Puerto Rico and even suggested that Trump should be impeached for not doing enough to help Puerto Rico. What does he want him to do? Go down there and hold their fucking hands? This guy will complain just to complain. He criticized Trump for giving Puerto Rico a $5 billion loan instead of a grant. You know, I'm going to end it right there. Gutierrez told left-wing host Amy Goodman that Trump wants to make Puerto Rico not part of the United States, but owned by the United States. The over-top, arrogant bullshit. Here it comes, right there. He doesn't want to make Puerto Rico part of the United States. It seems the Democrat Party doesn't want it. There's a lot that don't want Puerto Rico part of the United States. Puerto Rico doesn't want to be part of the United States. You leave Puerto Rico, and that's just another reason why we should impeach you as President of the United States. You know, they also want to impeach because they don't trust them. Wow. That's a reason to impeach. Oh, my God. If that was the reason, we could have fucking impeached Obama 20 times over, Bill Clinton 100 times over. Yeah, well, it's getting that time. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio. We will be right back.
You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Been listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch Reaver Common Sense Show hosted by Jersey Joe right here on shrmedia.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else. So consider this your fair warning.
Hello. I'm Tim Hart. I'm the guy BZ hires, due to his shameless contract with the SHR Media Network, to voice his promos. He'd like me to tell you that the Bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show can be found on SHR Media Network, Spreaker, and YouTube every Tuesday and Thursday night at 11 p.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. Pacific, featuring right thinking from a left brain and doing the job the American media maggots won't. You'll find that the speech is free, but the drinks are not. There, in the saloon, just when safety pin manufacturers are running out of metal for the diapers of the leftists, BZ is sending his personal drones of freedom into the wheelhouses and ossicles of lovers of sovereignty and liberty nationally and globally. Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, BZ swears that no rights were harmed in the making of this promo. In a world controlled by corrupt politicians.
You got a business. You didn't build that.
A team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying cat for the stupid promo.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sako as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Hey, it's Sean from the Sackheads Radio Show. Also one of the owners here at the SHR Media Network. Are you opinionated? Have you ever wanted to do your own show? Have you ever heard somebody like the Sackheads and go, yeah, I could probably do that better? Well, now's your chance. Send me a 5-minute clip at sackheadsradio@gmail.com, and maybe you can be part of the SHR broadcasting team. sackheadsradio@gmail.com.
This is Jersey Joe, host of the Reaver of Common Sense, and you're listening to shrmedia.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
Human by race, Christian by faith, American by nationality, and conservative by choice. Reverend Ralph J. Chittum Sr. is the right guy on SHR Media from 8:05 to 9 p.m., Monday through Friday. And if on the rare occasion I am ever wrong, I will still always be right. The right guy on SHR Media.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
You're listening.
Contact is the
Now back to Reaver of Common Sense with Jersey Joe.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm here to make sense out of the senseless. And that's more proof why you don't give alcohol at a Sackheads radio show. Oh, I love those guys. You know what? I feel special that they went and did that for me. So I appreciate it, guys. I really do. Oh, speaking of, those guys are on tonight too. Oh. So, speaking of Sackheads, liberal professor slams New York New School for including hate-monger Linda Sauersauer on anti-Semitism panel. That's like putting Hitler on a anti-Semitism panel. Anti-Semitism panel. Alright, she may not be Hitler, but she is not for Jews. What kind of idiot? Yeah, okay, we're gonna do a panel on anti-Semitism, and yeah, let's get Linda Sauersauer. Yeah, that would be smart. A self-proclaimed liberal professor at New York's New School slammed the college over its decision to hold a panel including virulent anti-Israel activist hate-monger Linda Sauersauer on Tuesday night in an event on anti-Semitism. Now, here's the thing. I'm not saying that they shouldn't have that panel. Yes, they should. They should be inviting whoever they want. But maybe it was not well thought out, and they may not know who they're actually bringing to it. That's that's where I kind of am. I'm not going to say this professor's wrong on his point, but it's their panel. They can do what they want, invite who they want, but it shows just how much of a joke their panel actually is. He went on to say that I feel betrayed that Tuesday the Creative Publishing and Critical Journalism program is sponsoring a panel entitled Anti-Semitism and the Struggle for Justice, featuring the hate-monger Linda Sarsour, Professor Susan Shapiro, who is a human rights activist, wrote in the New York Daily News. Sarsour is the left-wing's new Hajid heroine, a Brooklyn-born Palestine activist who has tweeted nothing is creepier than Zionism and shared a podium praising her friend's Nation of Islam leader Louis Farrakhan, a virulent anti-Semite, and Rajmi Odai, a terrorist who spent 10 years in jail for abetting the killing of 2 Hebrew University students in 1969, Shapiro added. Imagine what would happen if I tweeted nothing is creepier than Palestinians, proclaimed gays can't be feminists, appeared alongside the KKK's David Duke, and publicly boycotted everything Arab owned or run, Shapiro continued. My bosses and colleagues would call me a racist and I'd probably be fired. Yet trash-talking Jewish Israel is not only permitted in progressive circles, it's rewarded. So Sarsour gets embraced by CUNY, and now the New School, is named one of Glamour magazine's Women of the Year, and gets celebrated by New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio. Shapiro noted that anti-Israel boycotts and bombastic, clearly masked virtual Jew hatred. Problem is, and I don't understand this, the Jewish community predominantly votes liberal. They vote Democrat. The Democrats are very anti-Semitic, definitely within the last 5-10 years. And they're getting worse and worse. And the Jewish community hasn't gone, fuck me, we're not supporting them. I don't understand it. I would not vote for a party that was very against my religion to the point of ridicule and calling for death and all that. See, that's one of the reasons I like where I am within my religion. And here it is. This may get me in trouble. This may get me in trouble. I'm not a Catholic. I'm not a practicing Christian. I have my ideas of what God, Jesus, and what I'm supposed to do. I believe what I've come to think as what is real. I've looked at a lot of different religions, seen there's a lot of common denominators amongst them, and that's what I believe. I don't believe in mass religion. When you get into mass religions, any type, whether it's Judaism, Christianity, Muslim, Hindu, any of them, the whole host of them, it grows so big that they get corrupt. There's other things that I'm not going to get totally in on, but it's my ideas. And if I'm wrong, I'm the one that'll have to stand before our Maker and explain myself. If there is no Maker, then there's no one to explain to. But it's my choice to have to explain. It's not for somebody else to force their views on me. But I'm also not going to bash anybody for their ideas. You want to be a fucking Satanist? Go be a Satanist. I don't give a shit. You're the one that has to answer if you're wrong. You want to be an atheist? Agnostic? That's your issue. You don't like that, I like that there's a nativity scene put up for a holiday? That's your problem. You get how many days of the year with nothing put up for your holidays? For your religious point of view, which means you don't have a point of view when it comes to... You have, 300 some days where there's nothing put up at government buildings? Hey, I ought to start complaining about that. Don't force your ideas on me. I won't force my ideas on you. And that's how I believe religion should be. And even to a point with politics. My show, I talk about things. I'm not trying to force my opinions onto people. I'm talking how I see things going in a everyday manner. That's what I do with the show. You don't like my opinions? Great. Debate them with me. Ignore them. Don't listen. Tell me to fuck off. I don't care. I'm not here to force you to do anything. I'm not here to force you into any type of thinking. If I open your mind and expand your thinking, then I love it. That's what I'd love to do with everybody I can. Expand their minds a little. Give them a different thought, a different trail of thinking. Doesn't mean I'm right, wrong, but give a different thought. If everybody thought the same, it would be a very boring world. Now back to the article. Shapiro also noted that anti-Israel boycotts and bombastic clearly... All right, everyone over there, here's my test. When someone of another religion scapegoats Israel but ignores their hideous crimes against humanity committed by 1.8 billion people in 50 Muslim-majority country, that proves racism against Jews. Is there racism against Muslims? Yes, there is. I've said it. Not all Muslims are bad. Not all Muslims are bad. It's like everything else. People will twist whatever they want to fit their way of thinking. Alright? That region has been at war for thousands of years. Before Christianity. Before the United States. And that's what I love. They blame everything. The Middle East blames all their problems on the United States and England. I always hear that. You assholes have been fighting each other thousands of years before the United States was even thought of or known about. So your issues are not the United States' fault. They're not England's fault. They're nobody else's fault but your own. As soon as you get that through your head and maybe think, well, it's okay for other people to have other ideas about religion. It's okay. It's their choice if they want to go to hell or whatever you want to think about us. Things will get better. Because if you want to think of a God, Mohammed, or whoever his name is, Allah, I'm not stopping you from doing that. What I want to stop you from doing is killing others in the name of your religious. Yes, I know Christianity did that. That was so 1,000 years ago. Maybe not 1,000. I don't see right now people running around the world murdering and saying, Jesus is great. Yahya is great. Buddha is great. No, I don't see that. And blowing themselves up. Because guess what? If it was Christianity doing what the Muslims do, I'd call it out. I'd be embarrassed. If it was the Jews, I'd be calling the Jews out. If it was Buddhism, Hinduism, whatever isms, I don't care. I'd call it out. But to scapegoat Israel and to ignore, bullshit. That's where I really go, there's a lot of bullshit going on. A lot of bullshit. When they start making excuses for Muslims and go after Judaism. Ah, shit. We're all red on the inside. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media. Hang on, shit. Now I got it. Right here on SHR Media and High Plains Planet Radio, and we will be right back.
You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch Reaver of Common Sense show hosted by Jersey Joe right here on shrmedia.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else. So consider this your fair warning.
Hello, I'm Tim Hart. I'm the guy BZ hires, due to his shameless contract with the SHR Media Network, to voice his promos. He'd like me to tell you that the Bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show can be found on SHR Media Network, Spreaker, and YouTube every Tuesday and Thursday night at 11 p.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. Pacific, featuring right thinking from a left brain and doing the job the American media maggots won't. You'll find that the speech is free, but the drinks are not. There, in the saloon, just when safety pin manufacturers are running out of metal for the diapers of the leftists, BZ is sending his personal drones of freedom into the wheelhouses and ossicles of lovers of sovereignty and liberty nationally and globally. Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, BZ swears that no rights were harmed in the making of this promo.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. You didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying cop for the stupid program.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Hey, it's Sean from the Sackheads Radio Show, also one of the owners here at the SHR Media Network. Are you opinionated? Have you ever wanted to do your own show? Have you ever heard somebody like the Sackheads and go, yeah, I could probably do that better? Well, now's your chance. Send me a 5-minute clip at sackheadsradio@gmail.com, and maybe you can be part of the SHR broadcasting team. sackheadsradio@gmail.com.
This is Jersey Joe, host of the Reaver of Common Sense, and you're listening to shrmedia.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the Unpleasant Blind Guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
Human by race, Christian by faith, American by nationality, and conservative by choice. Reverend Ralph J. Chittum Sr. is the right guy on SHR Media from 8:05 to 9 p.m. Monday through Friday. And if on the rare occasion I am ever wrong, I will still always be right. The right guy on SHR Media.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
Pay no attention to the muffled screams in the background. You are listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on the SHR Media Network. Back to you, Joe.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm here to make sense out of the senseless. Or at least I try to. Don't forget, if you want to watch a live show, it's easy. So easy, a liberal can do it. I don't know why whenever I say that, I kind of get that gay voice. Hi, I'm a liberal. I'm so liberated. Don't ask me why. It comes out that way. But I love doing that in public all the time. Be like, hi, how you doing? Don't go there. You know, it's just over the top. And even gays think it's funny. A couple of them, they're like, damn, you could pass off as one. Damn, that good? And they're like, yeah. I was like, shit. And no, I don't care if you're gay or not. Hey, if that's what you want to do, go ahead and do it. God, I gotta get my hair cut. I keep looking over. It's so long. All right, travel records. The Obama family vacations and campaign expenses cost taxpayers. I'll give everybody 3 guesses. So go ahead. Come on. You can do it. And I'm talking for the 8 years. $114 million. $114 million. God damn. We paid $114 million for the Obamas to go on vacation and campaign across America. Hey, that's my line, damn it. That is my line. Janice just said that I'm her favorite window licker. That's my line. I give out the window licker awards here. Damn it. But $114 million. I'm amazed. Newly released presidential travel records from the U.S. Department of Air Force and Secret Service show that former President Barack Hussein Obama's family vacations and campaign expense cost taxpayers $114 million. Judicial Watch, a conservative watchdog group, announced Monday that they obtained the records after filing a Freedom of Information Act request and 2 federal lawsuits asking for a presidential travel expense of Obama and President Trump. The latest batch of documents released by the 2 agencies show that the Obamas spent $9,028,346.90 on non-work related travel, bringing the total amount of personal travel expenses during Obama's presidency to $114,691,321.17. That 17 cents was just that put it over the top. The additional record shows Secret Service and Air Force expenses for 2 Obama family vacations that took place the weekend of February 14, 2014, and 2 campaign trips Michelle Obama made to North Carolina to campaign for Hillary Clinton in 2016. The 2 vacations, which includes Michelle Obama's annual trip to Aspen, Colorado, with her daughters, and former President Obama's annual golfing trips to Palm Springs, cost the Secret Service $272,192.91, records show. Michelle Obama's campaign trips, meanwhile, cost Air Force One $40,902.40 in both instances. Judicial Watch notes the former First Lady flew a C-40C military jet while an operating cost of $5,312 per hour. Michelle Obama flew to Charlottesville, then to Raleigh on October for 2.1 hours at a total of $11,155.20. Michelle Obama flew round trip to Bellevue and then Salem on October 26 and 27 for a total of 5.6 hours at $29,747.20. The record also notes that Obama spent more than $7 million in taxpayer money to fly to Chicago over the last 3 years of his presidency. Ooh, that looks like it's a good call. Right, a Rugrat. Ooh, as I said, I'm watching. I got Vikings on, and to torture him, man, they're holding him down, and 2 guys are holding his mouth open, and they take molten gold and pour it into his mouth. That's gotta hurt. That's gonna leave a mark in the morning. Oh. Ouch. Alright, back to the article. Obama's taxpayer-funded trips did not end there. Secret Service documents showed that Obama spent nearly $2 million of taxpayer money on post-presidency travel. The former president traveled destinations, however, were redacted for privacy and law enforcement reasons. The documents also show that Trump spent $2,821,367.34 on non-work-related travel, bringing the known travel cost for the president and his family to $10,381,792.35. Air Force documents show that Trump has spent $1.1 million of taxpayer money on 2 trips he made to his Mar-a-Lago resort in April 2017 to meet with Chinese president and to celebrate Easter. The current president also spent $603,107.40 to fly to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania to attend a rally to celebrate his 100th day in office and to visit his Bedmaster, New Jersey golf club once in May and once in June. Tom Fitton, Judicial Watch president, said he was frustrated that it took several federal lawsuits to get the government to release information about presidential travel costs that are funded by the taxpayer. It shouldn't require federal lawsuits to prod the Secret Service and Air Force to produce information about the costs of presidential travel. Whether the travel is necessary or not, it's a massive amount of money. We will continue to monitor the spending while taxpayers continue to pay the bill for presidential travel. And that's how I think we ought to go about, and I think I said it yesterday, finding out this sexual harassment slush fund. It is it's paid with by federal tax money, which comes from, yes, you know it, us Americans. It is our hard-working money that's going to these government officials, to them to pay to people so that they can get grabby and mouthy with these people. That should be open very easily. A Freedom of Information request sent in, and it should be dropped out right to us. I don't care that courts may have closed the case. That is federal tax money being paid out. We have a right to know where that money goes. That has nothing to do with top security, none of that. We should know where that money maybe not goes to, but which senator had to pay it out and why. I can understand maybe not wanting to expose the person's name. I can understand that. And I mean the victim. The congressman or congresswoman should have their name exposed and how much money they had to pay out of that slush fund. And from here on out, it ought to be that they pay their own fucking money. Period. Just like these corporations. We'll take Harvey Weinstein, for example. When he was doing those payouts to hush his victims, that's a tax write-off. They could write that off. Why should we be subsidizing their sexual harassment? Fuck that. Let them pay for their own shit. Maybe they'll learn real quick not to do it. It's a fucking joke. I was talking about the mainstream media. Now here, to the surprise of absolutely no one, the very same mainstream media that attempted to disqualify then presidential candidate Mitt Romney in 2012 over the phrase "binder full of women," the very same media that grinded Republican Senate candidate Tom Atkins into dust over something he said appears to be itself a depraved institution populated by powerful abuser and their enablers. The same ones that I said stand on that mountain and preach down on us, talk down on us, are some of the worst offenders. Over the past 2 months, a number of powerful men have been fired or placed on suspension over allegations of sexual misconduct, horrific behavior that ranges from masturbating in front of female subordinates to pay for play. And time again, we hear the words, "everybody knew." You read that article? You read that correctly. According to those within this wicked institution, everyone knew and did nothing. And they're just as fucking guilty as the perpetrator. Remaining quiet is just as wrong as doing the act. These sons of bitches sit up there and preach and preach and preach. Listen, we'll get more into this article after this break. I'm gonna give you a Money Talks minute, and then we'll go right into the break. But after that, we'll get back to talking about this hotly talked about subject. And you're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio.
Welcome to this week's Money Talk Minute with your business diva, Melanie Collette. This week, we're going to discuss interest rates. Why are they important? Well, they're important on two sides of your financial coin. On the one side, you have your debt. Credit card debt, loans, and things like that. You always want to get the lowest interest rate possible. Why? That means that money is costing you a lot less to borrow with a lower interest rate. And speaking of that, when you're looking at which loan or which credit card to pay off first, you're always going to look at the interest rate. Which one has the highest interest rate? That's the one you want to start paying off first. On the savings side of the financial coin, what kind of savings account do you want to open? What one should you choose? You will always choose the one with the best interest rate, and on the savings side, the best interest rate will be the highest interest rate. This means it will yield you the highest amount of return. And that's it for your Money Talk Minute of the Week. I am your business diva, Melanie Collette.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
You have been listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch Reaver of Common Sense show hosted by Jersey Joe right here on shrmedia.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else. So consider this your fair warning.
Hello. I'm Tim Hart. I'm the guy BZ hires, due to his shameless contract with the SHR Media Network, to voice his promos. He'd like me to tell you that the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show can be found on SHR Media Network, Spreaker, and YouTube every Tuesday and Thursday night at 11 p.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. Pacific, featuring right thinking from a left brain and doing the job the American media maggots won't. You'll find that the speech is free, but the drinks are not. There, in the saloon, just when safety pin manufacturers are running out of metal for the diapers of the leftists, BZ is sending his personal drones of freedom into the wheelhouses and ossicles of lovers of sovereignty and liberty nationally and globally. Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, BZ swears that no rights were harmed in the making of this promo.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. You didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying cap for the stupid promo.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Hey, it's Sean from the Sackheads Radio Show, also one of the owners here at the SHR Media Network. Are you opinionated? Have you ever wanted to do your own show? Have you ever heard somebody like the Sackheads and go, yeah, I could probably do that better? Well, now's your chance. Send me a 5-minute clip at sackheadsradio@gmail.com, and maybe you can be part of the SHR broadcasting team. sackheadsradio@gmail.com.
This is Jersey Joe, host of the Reaver of Common Sense, and you're listening to shrmedia.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
Human by race, Christian by faith, American by nationality, and conservative by choice. Reverend Ralph J. Chittum Sr. is the right guy on SHR Media from 8:05 to 9 p.m. Monday through Friday. And if on the rare occasion I am ever wrong, I will still always be right. The right guy on SHR Media.
listening to the SHR Media Network.
You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense here on the SHR Media Network. Hey, Sean, you ever see a one-eared elephant?
No.
Check this out.
Oh, that's so tiny.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm here to make sense out of the senseless. So, we're going to get back to this article. The mainstream media accused. The same assholes that preach to us all the time are the same ones that are in the news right now, and the sickest of the sick. And there's no question there is a cancer of abuse and enabling within our elite media, an institution that, though it's unceasingly fake news and hypocrisy on matters such as these, has deservedly lost all public trust and moral authority. Any more question about why the media, along with Harvey would want to disarm us? Here's just a couple of names of the accused so far. Please keep in mind what the elite media itself media itself does not when a Republican is involved, that unless otherwise noted, these stand only as allegation. Teddy Davis, a senior CNN producer for Jake Tapper's State of the Union, fired over 3 allegations of behavior that does not align with the standards and values of CNN. That's kind of funny. Matt Zimmerman, booker for the NBC Today Show, fired over allegations of sexual harassment. David Sweeney, National Public Radio Chief News Editor, left the company over allegations of sexual harassment. Garrison Keillor, NPR icon, fired over allegations of inappropriate behavior. Matt Lauer, NBC News anchor, fired over sexual misconduct. Now, what is coming out, the one allegation so far, and they have admitted there's going to be more, and I think some of them have started to pop right before I came on air. It was a sexual assault. Not sexual harassment, sexual assault. We'll know more as time comes, but it's sounding pretty bad for him. Charlie Rose, CBS, PBS news anchor, fired over numerous allegations of harassment, misconduct, and groping. Glenn Thrust, New York Times White House correspondent, on suspension over multiple allegations of harassment and unwanted touching. Mark Halperin, Bloomberg, NBC News commentator, fired over numerous allegations of sexual misconduct, unwanted sexual touching. Lockheed Steele, editorial director, Vox Media, fired over allegations of sexual harassment. An unnamed employee at Vox Media resigned over allegation of sexual harassment. What the hell? David Korn, MSNBC contributor, Washington bureau chief for Mother Jones. Multiple accusations of sexual misconduct, unwanted touching. Michael Orsky, senior vice president and editorial director for NPR, numerous allegations of sexual misconduct. Leon, I ain't gonna try that one. 3 decades at Literaria editor at the New Republic, numerous allegations of sexual harassment. Hamilton Fisher, publisher, New Public, numerous allegations of sexual harassment. Matt Taibbi, Tailby or whatever, Rolling Stones, confessed in nonfiction memoir to sexual abuse and the enabling of the abuse of female staffer. Now says he made it all up. Jan Weiner, whatever, Rolling Stones owner, accused of sexual misconduct. Ian Pryor, senior editor, The Guardian, allegation of sexual harassment and groping. Unnamed Guardian employee, allegations of sexual harassment and groping. Matt Sullivan, Guardian, fired over allegations of sexual misconduct and groping. The one that makes me kind of snicker Not that this is happening. That I ain't that sick. But these same assholes that are doing all this were giddy and laughing when those incidents happened with Fox and Bill O'Reilly and what is it, Steve Isles? Oh, that's a Fox environment. See what conservatives do? That's conservatives. So there's, what, 2? And Eric Bolin left because of accusations. And that's it. I can remember. Hey, BZ. Now, the liberal media is blowing up as sexual deviants that we all knew they were. And this one with Matt Lauer may blow up even bigger. Because they even admitted in their announcement this morning that it's not just this woman, that there is evidence there's going to be more women coming forward, and it's not harassment, it's sexual assault. One accusation so far that I've heard about, an assistant came into his office, he dropped his pants with his little woohoo hanging out. When she turned him down, he got pissed and lectured her and berated her for not having sex with him. That takes a giant set of balls, no pun intended. Because let me tell you, if I drop my pants, and not that I'm going to do it unwanted, I drop my pants and a woman tells me no, my ego is going to go straight down, along with other things are going to go straight down. I'm going to be embarrassed all to hell. And then to get the balls to turn around and lecture? Whew. Brass balls. I don't know. I can't get in the mind of a sexual deviant. Now, I have been accused. Falsely accused. I know how that feels. It's not fun. A lot of these accusations, I'm not going to jump all over unless there's proof. I'm not going to go either way with someone. Like I said, Trump's and Al Moore's, not because they're conservatives. Hell, George Takei has been accused. Haven't seen any proof. It's been a while since I've heard anything. So I might be someone could correct me on it. But last I saw, it was an accusation with no proof behind it. And I wasn't getting behind it or thinking it was true. Not saying it's false. That man, there was no evidence, and I think it was just a smear tactic. My opinion. Could be true, could be false, but there was no proof behind it. Now you have Harvey Weinstein, who admitted to it. Al Franken, who admitted to it. You know, there's always those that, there's some of them that are admitting to it. So yes, I am counting them as guilty. All right? And that's the way I'm going to do. And like BZ just said, you'll always find yourself in good stead if you get behind advocating for due process. But what I was getting ready to bring up, and I kind of went off topic, and I've talked about it before. It seems funny to me that after over 40 years, with two men in public light, it's not like they came out of nowhere after 40 years of hiding or in the public light. 40 years of public light. Not a single accusation, no rumors, no nothing. Boom. They get in hotly contested political battles, and accusations fly. That's where I question those and don't believe those. Now, if there was rumors and innuendos, I might give more credence behind those accusations. But Judge Moore was in political full view. Donald Trump was in full view with all the shows. You know, he wasn't just a builder. He was a celebrity. And I hate these accusations that come out 40 years later because you can't disprove. It's hard to disprove a negative. How do you prove someone's lying or prove to them that things didn't happen 40 years ago? Well, this happened on such and such date. Well, what were you doing 40 years ago at this date and this time? Shit. Hell, I could hardly tell you what I had for breakfast yesterday. Wait a minute. Yeah, I can. I don't eat breakfast. But you know what I mean? I couldn't tell you what I did last week, last month, what day I did what. How am I going to be able to defend myself and come up with an alibi from 40 years ago? Well, she's saying I did it on this date. Oh, that couldn't have been me because I was out. I was watching TV with this person and that person. We were watching this program. I'm not Sheldon here. I don't have an eidetic memory. And most of the people in the world don't have an eidetic memory that can just, boop, oh, okay, on this date, this time, this is exactly what I was doing. And that's why they make a lot of those accusations like that, because they can't be disproved. And that's why I question those two cases. That's why I question George Takei. Takei. I don't like the guy. He's an annoying little prick. Again, excuse the pun. But it's... I don't see any type of evidence there. And I love this with Al Moore. Well, we'll give the yearbook up to analysis, to a third-party analysis, if he agrees to testify under oath. What? What kind of lawyer is that? Are you testify under oath for what? Are you going to take him to court? Because he's already going to testify under oath. What do you do? Want him to go, I swear to tell the truth? Even if he does that, he can lie out his teeth. He's not under oath. So, if you plan on taking him to court, you don't have to worry about it. You're doing a stall tactic and trying to change subjects by bringing that up. And to be honest, I think the statute of limitations may be out for any criminal activity, possibly. Every state's different. I understand that. It's... But these mainstream media people, holy shit. Finding out they're more scumbags than... I guess you gotta be a scumbag and deviant to be famous nowadays. Or is it when you become famous, you kind of like think you can get away with anything? Hollywood, you know, political. Still, I got a nice present in the mail for my wife. She got me a couple rings. I'm still trying to get used to them. I haven't wanted these for a while. I got two like this. This one's the black one. The other one's the red one. And it's got like the Knights Templar cross on the side. This is the one skull. This one I love. My wife loves it too. FTW with the middle finger on the side. Like I said, I got a duplicate with the red. I don't know what these stones are. Lastly, the skull with words on it. Joke is, in the house I'm the devil. My daughter's the devil spawn. So, hey, listen, it's about that time. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Punnet Radio, and we will be right back.
You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch Reaver of Common Sense show hosted by Jersey Joe right here on shrmedia.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else. So consider this your fair warning.
Hello, I'm Tim Hart. I'm the guy BZ hires, due to his shameless contract with the SHR Media Network, to voice his promos. He'd like me to tell you that the Bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show can be found on SHR Media Network, Spreaker, and YouTube every Tuesday and Thursday night at 11 p.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. Pacific, featuring right thinking from a left brain and doing the job the American media maggots won't. You'll find that the speech is free, but the drinks are not. There, in the saloon, just when safety pin manufacturers are running out of metal for the diapers of the leftists, BZ is sending his personal drones of freedom into the wheelhouses and ossicles of lovers of sovereignty and liberty nationally and globally. Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, BZ swears that no rights were harmed in the making of this promo.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. You didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying cop for the stupid promo.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Hey, it's Sean from the Sackheads Radio Show, also one of the owners here at the SHR Media Network. Are you opinionated? Have you ever wanted to do your own show? Have you ever heard somebody like the Sackheads and go, yeah, I could probably do that better? Well, now's your chance. Send me a 5-minute clip at sackheadsradio@gmail.com, and maybe you can be part of the SHR broadcasting team. sackheadsradio@gmail.com.
This is Jersey Joe, host of the Reaver of Common Sense, and you're listening to shrmedia.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
Human by race, Christian by faith, American by nationality, and conservative by choice. Reverend Ralph J. Chittum Sr. is the right guy on SHR Media from 8:05 to 9 p.m. Monday through Friday. And if on the rare occasion I am ever wrong, I will still always be right. The right guy on SHR Media.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
You're listening.
Contact is the evening.
Now back to Reaver of Common Sense with Jersey Joe.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe. I'm here to make sense out of the senseless. So, don't forget, coming up top of the hour in approximately 33 minutes will be the Sackheads radio show hosted by Sackhead Sean, Sackhead Clint, and BZ himself. So tune in. They'll be giving you the news and hot topics from the last week or so. And just all around, what do they call it, jackassery, which takes up probably 95% of the show. So this next article really pissed me the fuck off. UN Human Rights Commissioner. Now listen very carefully. The UN Human Rights Commissioner urges abortion for Down syndrome babies. A member of the United Nations Human Rights Committee has defended the use of abortions to eliminate babies with Down syndrome and other disability as a preventive measure to avoid the handicap. In a meeting of the UN Human Rights Committee this month, a Tunisian lawyer and committee member argued that one could be an advocate for handicapped people while still encouraging abortions in the case of a fetus with permanent disabilities. I don't know why. That's weird. Let me check something real quick. It's got to be Spreaker, because usually the first one to give out is my video, and my video feed's actually doing pretty good. So something's up with Spreaker tonight. This article just pisses me off. We've talked about death panels and things of that such. Now, this is straight out of like sci-fi. This is something that Hitler would have proposed. And I think that he was trying to do it. If there was disabilities, you were offed. And for the UN to allow this asshole to even keep speaking after he uttered those words is disgusting. And it shows you where the UN is heading. I've said it time and time again. The Allied forces fought, and fought well, against the Axis, Hitler, Germany, and now everybody, pretty much everybody that was part of the Allied forces, is now turning into exactly what it was fighting against. The UN was created to keep another Nazi Germany from popping up. The EU was created to stop another Nazi Germany from coming up. But they're turning into exactly what they were created to stop. And this disgusting comment was captured on videotape. The commissioner defended the inviolable right of women to an abortion, especially when her child has been diagnosed with Down syndrome or other disabilities. Now, this jackass said in French, if you tell a woman your child has Down, what is it called? Down syndrome? Down syndrome? If you tell her that, or that he may have a handicap forever, for the rest of his life, you should make this woman, it should be possible for her to resort to abortion to avoid the handicap as a preventive measure. While describing himself as an ardent defender of the handicap, this asshole insisted that the state must do everything possible to protect the handicap and ensure they have a life, a possible living. But that does not mean that we have to accept to let a disabled fetus live. This is a preventive measure, he said. I'm trying to think how to put this. Fuck the French. That is disgusting, and the UN allowing this guy to be a part of the Human Rights Committee. Human Rights Committee, think about that. He's talking on the Human Rights Committee. He is a member of the Human Rights Committee, and he's advocating for killing a fetus that may have Down syndrome or any other disabilities. But I'm the mean one. I'm the mean one when I hand out the window helmet wearing window licking award of the year. You know, I'm the asshole. But this guy, because he says that he's for the disabled, but he wants to have them aborted. I'm Now, he went on and says, advocating the abortion of handicapped children doesn't mean that we are against the disabled or that we won't help the disabled when born disabled. But if you're having them killed off, they're not going to be born, so you don't have to worry about it, so you're not for them. The commissioner went on to contend that the key difference lies in catching the disability before the child is born so that it can be aborted, because afterwards society is obligated to defend the child's right to live even if the child has a genetic anomaly. So this is where we find the difference between the birth of a human being. Once he is born, it is finished. With a handicap or without a handicap, he must live, and we must protect absolutely, in an absolute manner, his right to life. Now, I'm going to prelude it. To start this off, I've had the discussion on my ideas of abortion. There are certain times and places for abortion. Because you made a mistake isn't one of them. I think the life is precious. That is a human being. The same assholes that want abortions legal are the same ones that come up with laws that says if you smash an eagle egg, you have killed an eagle and you're going to jail. So they protect animal fetuses but won't protect human fetuses. And now we got assholes standing up in the UN talking how we should be selectively engineering the human race through abortion. There was somebody else that started Planned Parenthood who had the same idea, Margaret Sanger, but that was, that was her idea of how to do away with black people. And like BZ said in the chat room, next they'll be telling us what to think about things. Wait. They're already trying that. They've been trying that with the media. They've been trying that net neutrality. They want to get that through. They want to keep that. Why? Because they want to control what we say on the internet. This is another reason to pull out. You know what? There's one more abortion I think we should do. And we should abort the UN. Because when they make comments like that, I wonder if they're not handicapped. So maybe we should take this guy's advice and abort this handicap organization of the UN. That's sickening. And he goes on to say, so us, we defend the rights of the handicapped, but we can avoid the handicaps, and we must do everything we can to avoid them. And it is not contradictory. Yes, it is. And a woman that has Down syndrome has made her own YouTube video in response, suggesting that the commissioner apologize for his horrible comments. I'm a human being just like you, said the woman. Only difference is an extra chromosome. My extra chromosome makes me far more tolerant than you, sir. If any other trait, like skin color, were used to eradicate a group of people, the world would cry out. Why are you not crying out when people like me are being made extinct? What have we done to make you want to disappoint us? To disappear? As far as I know, my community doesn't hate, discriminate, or commit many crimes. What you are suggesting is eugenics. It's disgusting and evil. You need to apologize for your horrible comments. You should also be removed from the Human Rights Committee as an expert. You are not an expert on Down syndrome. You, sir, do not speak for my community. I will fight for our right to exist for the rest of my life, she said. This guy is just Ben Achhour, Achhour. Everybody knows that listen to the show, I suck at pronouncing last names, and that one is just, it's a French name, so of course it's fucked up. Fuck the French. And if you don't know, there's a joke in my house about that. I'm disgusted. That it truly has my stomach churning. That this guy on the Human Rights Council thinks we should abort fetuses with Down syndrome. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, and we will be right
ConservativeMedia.com. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch Reaver of Common Sense show hosted by Jersey Joe right here on shrmedia.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else. So consider this your fair warning.
Hello, I'm Tim Hart. I'm the guy BZ hires, due to his shameless contract with the SHR Media Network, to voice his promos. He'd like me to tell you that the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show can be found on SHR Media Network, Spreaker, and YouTube every Tuesday and Thursday night at 11 p.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. Pacific, featuring right thinking from a left brain and doing the job the American media maggots won't. You'll find that the speech is free, but the drinks are not. There, in the saloon, just when safety pin manufacturers are running out of metal for the diapers of the leftists, BZ is sending his personal drones of freedom into the wheelhouses and ossicles of lovers of sovereignty and liberty nationally and globally. Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, BZ swears that no rights were harmed in the making of this promo.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. You didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying cough for the stupid program.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Hey, it's Sean from the Sackheads Radio Show, also one of the owners here at the SHR Media Network. Are you opinionated? Have you ever wanted to do your own show? Have you ever heard somebody like the Sackheads and go, yeah, I could probably do that better? Well, now's your chance. Send me a 5-minute clip at sackheadsradio@gmail.com, and maybe you can be part of the SHR broadcasting team. sackheadsradio@gmail.com.
This is Jersey Joe, host of the Reaver of Common Sense, and you're listening to shrmedia.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
Human by race, Christian by faith, American by nationality, and conservative by choice. Reverend Ralph J. Chittum Sr. is the right guy on SHR Media from 8:05 to 9 p.m. Monday through Friday. And if on the rare occasion I am ever wrong, I will still always be right. The right guy on SHR Media.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
Pay no attention to the muffled screams in the background. You are listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on the SHR Media Network. Back to you, Joe.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm here to make sense out of the senseless. That's right. Coming up next at top of the hour, that's about 13 minutes away, we will have the Sackheads radio show hosted by Sackhead Sean, Sackhead Clint, and the famous BZ. It seems like Spreaker is giving us trouble. I know last night he had some issues. Seems like tonight there's some issues. So the next article, we're going to play a little video. Yes, we're going to play a little video. It's the new Veritas, Project Veritas video going after Washington Post. And the reporter seems to think that the Russian story is a joke. Post leading reporter on the Russian collusion story in May. He published a story based on secret auto recording. But he's in there saying, well, we're just going to go ahead and play it. Here it is.
Our reporting is not taking us to a place where I would be able to say with any confidence that the result of it is going to be the president being guilty of being in cahoots with the Russians. There's no evidence of that I've seen so far.
How do we get the president?
I have no idea. And frankly, there may not be anything that gets the president. I have no idea. Seriously. I mean, it's a crash.
Several months ago, the Washington Post applauded me personally in Project Veritas about one of our investigations, saying it, quote, validates his group and its controversial methods. But when we turned our cameras against them, the Washington Post cried foul. If we investigate one of their enemies, we're their friend. If we investigate one of their friends or them, we're their enemy. See, in the final analysis, it's really not about our methods or our techniques. Don't let them fool you with this talk about morality and ethics when it comes to undercover investigative journalism. This is about taking sides, and whose side you are on. Undercover work is hard, it's messy, it's difficult, it's making sausage, but we use deception in order not to be deceived, because when you blindly report what people tell you, sometimes you tell people what's not true. But undercover journalism is extraordinarily effective. How effective? Ask the New York Times. Ask CNN. And today, ask the Washington Post. We focus on areas of profound importance. And nothing is more vital to the public interest than a responsible and reliable media, which has more power than the judicial, executive, and legislative branches combined. Politics is downstream from culture. Culture is downstream from data, the corporate media forces. Undercover work is the only way to expose dishonesty in these types of powerful institutions. The entire media establishment is against Project Veritas, for good reason. We're challenging their credibility, their veracity, and their monopoly. We are an existential threat to them. So with that, we take the challenge of exposing wrongdoers and the truth, and we take you to Adam Entus. He is an honest reporter who, when captured on our undercover camera, admits the Russia story, maybe nothing at all.
Haven't you guys been like the main paper on the Russia stuff?
But we really haven't addressed. Our reporting is not taking us to a place where I would be able to say with any confidence that the result of it is going to be the president being guilty of being in cahoots with the Russians. There's no evidence of that I've seen so far.
Adam Entus is the Post's national security reporter assigned to the paper's Russia beat. This year alone, he's written more than 50 stories about Russia, yet Entis doesn't believe that his reporting has led to anything substantial.
How do we get the president?
I have no idea. And frankly, there may not be anything that gets the president. It may be just lower-level people who are compromised by this. We just don't know. It's very hard to tell. So, we just don't know.
I mean, there has to be something, right?
Maybe not. It could just be, lower-level people kind of being manipulated or manipulated. But it's very hard to. It's really black box.
What we don't understand is why the rest of the Post won't follow his lead. Take a look at this editorial that speaks definitively about the Trump campaign's attempted collusion. Or this one, titled, "The Russia Investigation is Getting Serious, and President Trump is Feeling the Heat." Entis says, not so fast.
In terms of the actual, secret arrangements where they're cooperating, we haven't seen anything that shows that yet. We've seen a lot of flirtation, if you will, between them, but nothing that in my opinion, would rank as actual collusion. Now, that doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. It just means we haven't found it yet. Or it may mean it doesn't exist.
Does it seem like we're getting warmer or cooler?
We're getting warmer, but it goes warm and then it goes cold. It goes warm and then it goes cold.
Yeah.
I have no idea. Seriously. I mean, it's crapshoot. I literally have no prediction whatsoever as to what would happen. And I do all the stuff for the Post on this, so...
You do what?
I do most of this reporting for the Post. So I honestly can tell you, I have no idea. But that's the truth. We're just trying to figure it out. It's very hard.
In an August 29th editorial titled, "What More Proof of a Secret Russia Connection Do We Need?" the Post quotes Representative Elijah E. Cummings. He asks, why, like so many times before, are the American people forced to find out new details about the president's relationship with Russians from strong investigative reporting instead of from the president himself? Good question, considering the Washington Post's strong investigative reporter calls the story a crapshoot.
If things happen, I mean, maybe it goes that way.
Right.
Maybe it doesn't, It's the maker's meat. It's very hard to tell. I don't know. But we're trying our best to figure it out. But to be honest, it's very hard. It's getting hard.
We understand there's a difference between the editorial pages and the news pages. The news pages engages in fact-finding. The editorial page does not. So why doesn't the editorial page reflect what the news people actually report? In this case, they don't. The editorial page is all about conjecture. The only explanation for the Post's mishandling of the Russia story is bias, a bias made blatantly clear by the paper's director of newsroom operations, Melissa McCullough.
I mean, if they're more and more like, he's not going anywhere. Let's just hope he doesn't get reelected in another 3 years. So, just my take.
Yeah, he is a little self-centered. Only a little bit.
Living on a different planet, I think, but whatever. He's living on a different planet, but again, this is not I shouldn't be saying this. We're not supposed to really talk about that kind of stuff.
Undercover journalism is hard. Ascribing motive to us is easy and lazy. We have hardworking journalists all across the country right now dedicated to finding corruption and shining a light on it. There are some things we can't talk about, some sources and methods we can't reveal. The mainstream media wants to destroy Project Veritas. Why? Because we hold them accountable. They see us as their enemy. Those who dwell within the media complex cannot abide us. It is not just their jobs they're worried about, it's their power. Their power to acquire money, their power to protect their friends and causes, their power over the elected and appointed, and their power over you and me. Project Veritas has a stone lodged between Goliath's eyes. The media wants me to kneel down and apologize. I will not. We will keep pushing. We will keep fighting. We will expose the truth because there's no one else doing it. No one else can do it. No one has the will to do it. They're out for blood, but we'll not surrender. We will never stop. Stay tuned.
And that's another great video from Project Veritas. I mean, that's not one of the major, eye-openers, but that does expose a lot. But with that, that's the end of the show, people. Coming up next, in approximately 4 minutes, will be Sackhead's radio show, hosted by BZ, Sackhead Clint, and Sackhead Sean. Everybody, I'll see you tomorrow. Peace. You've been listening to the Reaver of Common Sense with its host, Jersey Joe. You can tune in every day, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on hppundit.com and shrmedia.com.